Deleting yourself entirely from the internet can be tricky, tedious, and time-consuming, especially when you constantly put your face on it. Let's talk about DeleteMe, the service that promises to scrub your personal information from the internet like it never existed. Spoiler alert, the internet never forgets, but DeleteMe will definitely try to make it forget for a price. A slightly lower one when you use the link in the description, but first, let me paint you a picture of the world we're living in. Your personal information is currency, and you're not the one getting paid. There are companies called data brokers whose entire business model is collecting everything about you, your address, phone number, shopping habits, family members' info, that embarrassing thing you bought on Amazon at 2 a.m., and selling it to whoever's paying. This is completely legal, by the way, so isn't that fun? DeleteMe is basically a digital privacy assistant that finds your personal data on broker sites and submits removal requests on your behalf. Think of it as someone whose full-time job is to call up these companies and say, "Hey, stop selling my clients' information, please and thank you." The company's been around since 2010, making it one of the OG services in the space. They've had over a decade to figure out how to navigate the maze of data brokers, which should theoretically be a good thing. They monitor over 750 data broker sites, which sounds impressive until you realize that monitoring and actually doing something about it are two very different things, but we'll get into that. Here's where things get a little uncomfortable. To protect your privacy, you first have to hand over a lot of personal information. We're talking full name, date of birth, current and past addresses, phone numbers, emails, even a photo of your state-issued ID. It feels counterintuitive, but this is the trade-off. To track down where your data is being sold, they need to know exactly what to look for. The setup takes about 10 minutes, and you'll also have to agree to a limited power of attorney so they can submit opt-out requests on your behalf. It sounds dramatic, but it's pretty standard. The ID upload is frustrating, especially since not all services require it, but DeleteMe claims certain data brokers won't process removals without it. Sure, fine, whatever gets the job done. About a week after setup, though some people get it faster, you receive your first privacy report. This is where things get either reassuring or deeply unsettling, depending on your perspective. The report clearly shows what information was found, where it was found, and what DeleteMe is doing about it. They also provide an estimate of how much time they've saved you by handling these removals instead of you doing them manually. In the first week, they removed 39 listings for me, which sounds great until you realize that's only about 21% of what they found, and we're just getting started. Here's where DeleteMe gets creative with their marketing. They monitor over 750 data broker sites, which they love to advertise. What they're less enthusiastic about mentioning up front is that they only automatically submit removal requests to somewhere between 60 and 125 of those sites. For the other 625 plus sites, you need to manually flag listings using their custom removal request feature. So much for hands-off privacy protection. This isn't necessarily a deal breaker, but it's definitely not what their marketing suggests. To be fair, the sites they automatically cover tend to be the major players, the biggest and most problematic data brokers. But if you're paying for comprehensive coverage, comprehensive shouldn't require you to do homework. Once DeleteMe submits removal requests, the waiting game begins. Some data brokers comply within days, others take weeks or months, and some apparently just ignore the request entirely because they're sketchy. DeleteMe can't force compliance. They can follow up and escalate, but ultimately, they're asking nicely. If a data broker decides to be difficult, there's not much anyone can do except keep asking nicely. The bigger issue is that data removal isn't a one-time fix. Data brokers constantly reharvest information from public records and other sources. DeleteMe sends quarterly reports to update you on new findings and removals, which is helpful, but also a constant reminder that your privacy is under perpetual assault. DeleteMe throws in some bonus features that are actually pretty useful. Email masking creates alias email addresses that forward to your real inbox. This is great for signing up for things online without exposing your actual email to more spam than you can handle. Phone masking gives you temporary phone numbers to use instead of your real one, which is excellent for avoiding robocalls and maintaining some semblance of peace in your life. Payment card masking generates virtual card details for online shopping. So you're not handing your actual credit card information to every sketchy website on the internet. DeleteMe offers real customer support with actual human beings, available via phone, live chat, and email. In my experience, they're prompt, friendly, and actually know what they're talking about, which might seem like a low bar, but you'd be surprised how many services in this space either have no customer support or route you through chatbots, or my least favorite, upsellers. Let's talk about the part no one loves, the price. DeleteMe isn't cheap. It's a premium service with premium pricing, and that includes annual billing only. No monthly payment option if you just want to test the waters. They do offer a money-back guarantee, but only if you cancel before your first report is generated. After that, refunds are partial, which isn't exactly ideal if you're on the fence. Now, to be fair, you are paying for a more hands-on, white-glove approach. But if budget is a concern, or you'd rather not commit up front, there are competitors out there with lower cost options and flexible monthly plans. Pricing changes occasionally, so instead of locking in numbers here, check the description below for the latest details. The biggest challenge for DeleteMe is competition. Newer services like Incogni and Optree offer similar or better features at a lower cost with simpler interfaces and more automation. DeleteMe's long track record gives it credibility, but it's now the pricier, more hands-on option in a market full of cheaper, more streamlined alternatives. For many users, the trade-off between DeleteMe's white glove support and Incogni's set it and forget it simplicity leans toward the latter. Another issue is transparency. DeleteMe's marketing suggests broad automated coverage, but the reality is more limited, focused mostly on people's search sites. It doesn't cover financial or health data brokers, which operate under different regulations and often can't be opted out of. So while DeleteMe helps reduce your visibility in public search results, it only scratches the surface of a much larger data ecosystem. DeleteMe gets the job done, but it's expensive and more hands-on than the marketing implies. If you've got the budget and don't mind being involved in the process, it's a solid option with good support and a long track record. But if you're looking for a more affordable set it and forget it alternative, something like Incogni or Optree offer better automation and value, even if I do still have that discount code in the description. DeleteMe is best for people who want broad coverage, trust brand reputation, and are willing to stay engaged with custom removal requests. It's not the cheapest, and it's definitely not the most hands-off, but if you want someone to walk you through the process and don't mind paying a little extra for it, they'll do exactly that.
Where are you going?
Where are you going?